we go. It's an area that I pulled quite a few beaver out of last year, and we did a little setup in here this year earlier on for some otter. Pulled one out the first day, and which is quite promising. Been a mink, muskrat, and 2 beaver out of here so far. 2 beaver yesterday out of here. Beaver season opened here on the 1st. Today is the 3rd. We took the beaver out of the main pond last year, which, as you can see, is not huge. And the house is further up out of the screen here to the left. There was a bank den up there. And looking over here at the dam. Also, just to be aware, this is my first video, so if it sucks, don't be surprised. I'm not Alan Funt, and I'm doing this handheld because the tripod mount I had doesn't have the right thread, so we'll keep going. Hopefully I don't make you seasick with me walking with this. Everything else, we'll head over here to the dam. We got a few sets over here now. I don't expect them to produce anything really. They're not, I haven't seen a lot of activity in here other than the otter going on the slide over here, and I thought we'd have pull some more otter out of here by now, but apparently not. One lonely little muskrat, I don't know where he came from. Just partially looking at this this bog, or whatever you want to call it, swamp. Goes for I don't know, 150 yards or so, and drops off to a big river. There's a large river down there, very slow, very wide. I picked up were travelers coming through, because they were both headed this direction, like they were coming up from the river. And got one right here. That's where we got the first one, and this is where we got the otter. You can see that first day. I've got a set a little further down here now around the bend, a little bit of a deep spot with a 330 in it. Let's see how that works out. I'll probably shut the camera off when I make my way down there. I don't have my hip boots on, I just got lower boots, and I'm going to kind of dance my way in there without going swimming. Over here, got a just a 110 over here stuck in the weeds right in front of us, and right there, and that's where the mink was, and that's where the muskrat ended up, surprisingly enough. There's multiple places in here where I could make sets, but you know, it would be very time consuming at this point. The other one, we got a 330 down here, and it doesn't look like there's anything in it. You can see it right down in the water down there. I'll walk down there, we can check that. The water's not very deep here. It gets a little deeper down below. That trap's underwater. Here in Connecticut, we're required to, everything has to be below water unless it's a 110. The 110 can be out of the water as long as a portion of it touches. But this 330 set here, this produced a beaver yesterday. One here and one at the other spot over there that we just looked at. Anyway, nothing there today. Make your way further down through here, further over to the right. I'll pan that way a little bit. That heads out back to that river, same spot we just talked about. And head back up here to where the dam is. There's a, I got just a small 1.5 foothold up here under the edge of the bank. Only because there's a spot over here where they were, looked like the mink were coming down over the edge. There's the foothold right there. Just sitting there. It's been there probably a week, and I haven't seen any more tracks, anything sliding down there, but we'll leave it there. Patience seems to be a virtue with this trade. Here's the back side of the dam. Now this whole thing is a dam at one point. This was the most recent from last year and the year before. Like I said, there's not any not any beaver activity actually in this pond now. We took them all out last year at the owner's request. We're backed up against a cemetery, and I'll show you that. We drove in through it before I turned the camera on. But over there, back towards where we parked, where we walked from, behind where I parked, is a large cemetery. And private land starts at the edge of it and comes this way. This pond was almost flooding up into the road of the cemetery. They were cutting down birch trees on the edge of the cemetery, knocking them down on the road up there. And so we alleviated that problem for them. I also trap another piece of land that this landowner owns. Oh, there's some mallards out there, right straight out in front of us, swimming along. Doesn't look too deep, but believe it or not, this pond is actually fairly deep. Right here at the dam where I'm standing now, if you were to step in, you'd go down pretty quick. It drops off very fast. There's no fresh chew here. There's no fresh sign. I just got those few traps over here. I stop down every afternoon, check them, and we may pull them out of here if they don't start to produce something pretty soon. I got a couple other areas that I've held off on just because of time constraints and for where I have to be and what I can do. We've got a couple other spots we're going to check this afternoon and see if it's done anything. Alright, we're going to make our way back to the truck. This was kind of a dry stop here for us, but as you all know, you don't catch fur every day usually. At least I don't. We'll turn it on when we get to the next spot. Alright guys, until then, it's going to be probably a half an hour before I get out of here and get over there. Alright, take care.